Hi everyone, it's Vanessa. Once again, I went to the library and I had literally zero self-control and I picked up way too many things. I was only going there because I had 3 things on hold, but I left with 10 things. So let's just run through them and reasons why I picked them up. The majority of these are because of Booktube, to be honest. The one I was most excited to get was Mouse Volume 2, so I wanted to finish up this series, and this was like a hold that I had. And while I was browsing the graphic novel section, I saw this, which I didn't know was a thing, but it's called MetaMaus, and it goes deeper into the story of Mouse. So I imagine it has more stuff about the family, as well as like the context of all of this. It looks like it goes into history stuff as well, which seems interesting to me. There's a lot in here which looked really interesting, so I'm excited to get to this one after I'm done with Mouse Volume 2. The other things that I had on hold were, well, first one I had was Glaciers, which I've seen around. I saw it on Beyond Pages' channel, as well as Sabrina from Unmanaged Mischiefs. I can never say Sabrina's channel name right. Unmanaged Mischief. There you go. They talked about this, and it's a short novel. All I needed for this to be completely sold on me is the fact that the main character is a librarian. I'm in. The final thing I had on hold was Giant Days Volume 2. I read Volume 1 last August, a long time ago, and I was a little bit more tepid about it than the majority of Booktube, but I did like kind of like the lightheartedness of it, as well as the girl friendships, and as well as that it was set in a university, which is not very typical of things that I read. Not many things are set in college. And so I decided I'm gonna keep going, I'll try this one as well. And then as I was browsing in the graphic novel section, I saw that they also had Volume 3 on there. So I put this one on hold and I found this one while browsing. So if I enjoy Volume 2, I'll get to Volume 3 right after. The next thing I also picked up because of Sabrina from Unmanaged Mischief, as well as Deboki and Stephanie from It's Time to Read. They all have been talking about The Vegetarian lately, which is a kind of old book for Booktube. Like, the hype has kind of gone down, but those are 3 Booktubers that have been talking about it recently and have framed it in a way that I hadn't heard of before. Kind of what this book is known for is for being so visceral and like disturbing and sort of like hard to read, but they framed it in different ways for me, and even Stephanie said that she didn't think it was really disturbing at all, that she felt maybe she was like not a very sensitive person to those kinds of things. So I'm gonna see what I think of it and just try it myself. The next thing is one that's been on my list and ideas and I have heard about on Booktube, but I haven't picked it up yet, and that is Juliet Takes a Breath. This is, I believe, from a smaller publisher, and I do believe this one focuses on LGBTQ characters and themes, so I'm excited to try that one out as well. I read the first few pages and it just seems like everything's flying off the page for me, so I'm hoping this is going to be a great spring to summer read as well. And then the last 3 are kind of classics and older books. 2 that were really on my TBR for this year, and I really need to get back on my goals game. So the first one is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I'm going to be reading this one, I think, with my friend Nadia, who as a joke sent me a picture of Harry Styles wearing a shirt that like went up his neck and looked like he could have been from a Jane Austen novel, and was like, "You want to read Pride and Prejudice with me?" And I was like, actually, that's been on my list. So if you actually do want to read it, let's read it together. So that's going to be fun, I think. So that's why I picked this one up. And then another one that was on that same list that I haven't gotten to this year is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. And I think this is also going to be a great one that I could just like lose myself in from spring to summer now that classes are going to be over in just a little bit. And then last but not least, I got one that was mentioned offhand by Valentina when I was talking about Steinbeck, and she was talking about reading Steinbeck. I said that I would like to read more Steinbeck. I've only ever read Of Mice and Men, and she said to go with Cannery. So that's what I picked up. I really don't know much about this, and I'm sure I'll enjoy it. So that is it for my most recent library haul. I hope that you enjoyed watching this. If you read any of these, let me know which ones and if you enjoyed them. But I'm excited to get to them now that I'm not going to really be at my part-time job and that I'm not really going to be at school either. So I'm kind of going to have a little bit more time. Thanks for watching my video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye. This is heavy AF.